how would you deal with him? Because that's one of the concerns, I think, for Democrats. Who can be on the debate stage and how would you handle the insults and the attacks and the tweets and all of that?
The tweets are, I don't care. It's a very effective way to command the attention of the media. And I think that we need to make sure that we're changing the channel from this show that he's created. Because what matters, and I get it, look, it's mesmerizing. It's hard for anybody to look away. Me too. It is the nature of grotesque things that you can't look away.
Today, in an interview, compared you to the Mad Magazine mascot, said Alfred E. Newman can never be president. What's your response to him?
So I'll be honest, I had to Google that. I guess it's a generational thing. I didn't get the reference. I was thinking of a Chinese proverb that goes, when the wind changes, some people build walls and some people build windmills.
You've been busy this past week. You got insulted by the President of the United States.
Yeah, that's how you know you made it.
Yeah, absolutely. He called you Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah. What do you think?
The President of the United States called you that. Wow. What goes through your mind when that happens?
We talk a lot about elevating the dialogue, so I guess the fact that I inspired him to make a literary reference, possibly for the first time.
Oh, my. Last question before we put this interview to bed. Since you're new on the political scene, have you ever thought of asking President Trump for advice?
Actually, when it comes to my qualifications, I have more government experience than the president and more executive experience than the vice president. So if they ever want advice, I'm sure their interns can show them how to DM me. Anger of your life, then you're not going to make it.
You'll say I gave you the best economy ever, and I'm finally speaking the truth.
Yeah, the best economy ever. I mean, under Obama, unemployment goes, what, from 10 to 5? Trump sees it go from 5 to 4, and he thinks he's the one who, it's like the rooster in the morning, thinks he made the sun come up. Meanwhile, there's the very simple fact that while GDP, the silly insults and the rest of that comes with. So, look, I don't have a problem standing up to somebody who was, working on season 7 of Celebrity Apprentice when I was packing my bags for Afghanistan. But at the end of the day, it's not about him.
Do you have a question? Do you think he should have served in Vietnam?
Well, I have a pretty dim view of his decision to use his privileged status to fake a disability in order to avoid serving in Vietnam.
You believe he faked a disability?
Do you believe he has a disability? Yeah, yeah. At least not that one. No, I don't mean to. No, this is actually really important because I don't mean to trivialize disability, but I think that's exactly what he did. When you think about the way somebody can exploit the system, and needless to say, the way he has treated and mocked disabled people is just one more example of the many affronts to just basic decency that this president has inflicted on this country. But manipulating the ability to get a diagnosis. I mean, if he were a conscientious objector, I'd admire that. But this is somebody who, I think it's fairly obvious to most of us, took advantage of the fact that he was the child of a multimillionaire in order to pretend to be disabled so that somebody could go to war in his place. And I know that dredges up old wounds from a complicated time during a complicated war. But I'm also old enough to remember when conservatives talked about character as something that mattered in the presidency. And so I think it deserves to be talked about.